Discover the heartwarming truth: 7 incredible things owners couldn't do to slaves in ancient Rome. Maya's place was more than a diner. It was heart, history, and hope all rolled into one. Nestled in a small Georgia town, the aroma of fried chicken and sweet potato pie wafted through the air, inviting all to share in its warmth. Maya, a 35-year-old African-American woman, poured her soul into every dish, each plate a tribute to her family's legacy. For decades, this diner stood as a beacon of belonging, a place to eat, laugh, and build connections. But as rising rents chipped away at her profits, clouds of despair loomed. Regulars began to trickle out the door, seeking cheaper eats elsewhere. The chatter that used to fill her bright, red-checkered booths faded into an uncomfortable silence, like a song missing its melody. Her heart raced with worry. Would she be forced to close the doors to the diner her grandmother had built? Each day felt heavier, like a weight pressing on her chest, and unanswered questions echoed in the spacious void. What would it mean for her family's legacy? Things took a darker turn when the local judge misinterpreted a heated exchange between Maya and a customer. Whispers transformed into shouts, turning her sanctuary into a battleground. Neighborhood chatter became a current ripping through her community. Accusations flew. How could the diner owner embody the true spirit of compassion when rumors of her character tainted her name? The laughter and camaraderie soured, leaving tension thick in the air. Maya fought back tears, her heart aching at the injustice of it all. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Facing a crisis of character, Maya sank deep into memories of her family history. Nights spent in her grandmother's kitchen flooded back, where stories of resilience resurfaced as savory smells competed against the clattering of pots. Just when it felt like despair would swallow her whole, a reunion with distant relatives rallied unexpected strength. They gathered in a circle, sharing tales of overcoming hardships, a tapestry of kinship woven with love and endurance. Each story was a gentle reminder: she was never truly alone. As Maya spoke to the community, her voice igniting a spark of hope, she drew parallels to the stories of ancient Rome, lessons in unity and justice intertwined. But just as whispers of support began to rise, the threat of losing her diner loomed ever closer. Maya stood tall, heart racing, her voice tremoring yet fierce. Would her plea for understanding bind the town together or push them further apart? The upcoming town hall meeting held the answers. Maya's heart pounded with every step toward the microphone. She was ready to face the crowd. But the question loomed heavily in the air: would her diner be a catalyst for change or the last flicker of light fading in the shadows of division? The town hall was packed. Faces that once beamed with joy now wore expressions of skepticism and anger. Maya stepped through the doors, her heart thumping in her chest like a drum. The room crackled with tension, a storm gathering around her. She could feel the weight of everyone's eyes upon her, heavy with judgment and disappointment. Her grandmother's words echoed in her mind. "Honey, your voice has power. Never let anyone steal your light." Taking a deep breath, Maya approached the microphone, her legs shaky. She glanced around the room, locking eyes with old friends, familiar faces lined with frowns. Those she had served countless cups of coffee to, those who had shared laughter over pies at her countertop. They were here, and she needed to remind them who they were, together. "Thank you all for coming," she began, voice steadying. "I know times are tough. The weight of what's happening is heavy on all of us. But I stand here today because I believe in our community." Her gaze softened, searching for connection. Maya's place has always been a home for many, a gathering place where stories mix with meals. Just like my grandmother did, I want to offer that warmth, that love, and strength to push through tough times. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Some nodded, while others crossed their arms, unsure. Maya pressed on, recalling how her family's history was woven into the diner's very foundation. Every meal I serve carries a memory. Each plate is a reminder of resilience, a tradition passed from my family to yours. If we let rumor dictate our hearts, what does that make us? A little girl from the back, clinging to her mother's leg, suddenly shouted, "I love the sweet potato pie." The room froze for a moment, then melted into soft laughter. Even Maya chuckled, her heart easing just a little. Little things like that brought light, the innocence of a child reminding them what it was all for, yet the laughter quickly gave way to silence again as another voice rose. But what if rumors are true? It's not easy to believe anymore. The pushback stung. Maya felt the heat rise in her, but she controlled it. "Look," she said firmly, "I am not perfect. I've messed up, just like everyone here has. But I strive to be better. Together, we've made this community strong, haven't we? Can we not support one another now?" Those charged eyes softened just a bit, but doubt shifted at the edges. The moment felt fragile, like a thin strand hovering between hope and despair. This diner is a symbol, a place for gathering. If we give up on each other, we dim that light. Maya's hand shook as she gripped the microphone tighter. Feelings of vulnerability surged, and she took a deep breath before speaking the words that weighed on her heart. "I am asking you to trust me, to honor the traditions we've built together, to heal rather than tear apart." An unexpected silence fell as the crowd absorbed her words. Whispers of agreement broke out, but others still remained unconvinced. In that charged atmosphere, a voice cracked through the tension. It was Mr. Thompson, a well-respected elder within the community. Everyone turned toward him. "Maya speaks the truth, but what can we do to rebuild trust?" Hope flickered inside Maya. Could they find common ground? Real change could only come together. It was a start, but a long road lay ahead. As the meeting pressed on, new voices began to emerge, each sharing their thoughts. Steps toward unity began to sprout like wildflowers after a storm. But what would that journey look like? With her heart racing, Maya wondered, were they truly ready to come together, or would division keep them apart for good? The uncertainty lingered in the air, heavy and electric, as she faced the crowd she desperately wanted to heal. Maya's heart thudded in her chest as she watched Mr. Thompson's words hang in the air. Had she truly reached someone? The room buzzed with conversation, a momentary shift. But she sensed it was precarious, like balancing on a tightrope strung between hope and doubt. "Maybe we could host community dinners," suggested a voice, tentative but rising with eagerness. "Share our experiences, our fears. Food always brings us together." "Yes. We can cook together." Another chimed in. "We used to do that every Saturday. Remember how we'd laugh and share stories while chopping vegetables?" Suddenly, the memories washed over Maya like a wave. Nights spent at the diner, the chatter of laughter blending with the sizzling pans, the aromas filling the air, a sanctuary forged in togetherness. She could see the spark of enthusiasm lighting up the crowd, the initial resistance beginning to crack. Exactly. Maya felt emboldened. Let us get back to our roots. Let us remind ourselves why we're here, why this diner matters. It's about more than food, it's about connection. And connection starts with conversation. Small smiles broke through hardened faces, and whispers of agreement flickered like candles, illuminating the shadows. But another voice called out, one that made Maya's stomach twist. But what if it doesn't work? What if the rifts are too deep? Maya swallowed hard. She had been wrestling with that very fear. "We won't know unless we try," she replied, her voice firm. "We've learned from the past, haven't we? What's at stake is more than just a business. It's our heart." A murmur of contemplation spread through the crowd. Faces softened, uncertainty fleeing in the face of shared memories. Memories of summer picnics and winter holiday gatherings, of warmth spilling from the diner's windows. Mr. Thompson nodded encouragingly. I remember those dinners, and they always ended with laughter and full hearts. We can't let fear stop us from reaching out. The words hung in the thick air, stirring something deeper within the gathering. People began nodding, and almost instinctively, they started sharing their ideas. What if we invite everyone? What if we encourage families to come, even those who VE pulled away? A woman's voice rang out. The perspective began broadening, and with it came fresh energy. Maya felt the corners of her mouth lift. Each proposal soaked into the room like sunshine breaking through clouds. Hope cascaded over her, and she realized they were becoming a chorus instead of a discord. As the meeting moved forward, plans took shape. They spoke of weekly food drives, movie nights in the park, and collaborating with local musicians to breathe life back into their community. That pulse she had been longing for flickered more vibrantly, and Maya found herself smiling, feeling the warmth of unity for the first time in weeks. However, amid the excitement, the pit of fear still tugged at her. What if their efforts were not enough? What if the wounds ran deeper than she anticipated? Could this fragile resurgence withstand the trials ahead? But as the crowd finally began to spread hope like vibrant petals unfurling after the frost, a familiar face caught her eye. Jack, her childhood friend, who hadn't shown up much lately around the diner. He stood by the door, arms crossed, uncertain yet watching intently. Their eyes met, and Maya felt a profound connection, a question teetering on the edge of her heart. Could he see the spark amid the shadows? Would he be willing to join in their collective effort? Or was he too far gone? As the meeting wrapped up, heart swelling with possibilities, Maya realized the next step lay before her. Would she dare to approach Jack? What would she say? Her pulse quickened at the thought as she stepped away from the microphone, ready to bridge a gap that had long stood between them. Could a simple conversation transform everything? Maya took a deep breath, summoning the courage that had fueled her words just moments ago. She stepped away from the crowd, navigating through the mingled faces, the excitement of their new plans swirling around her like confetti. But all her attention was on Jack. So many memories flooded back, adventures in their youth, secrets shared over sodas at the diner. His laughter was part of that lively chorus of connections she had fought to revive. "Hey, Jack," she said, her voice catching slightly as she approached him. He shifted slightly, uncrossing his arms, and their eyes locked. For a split second, she feared he would turn away. But instead, he seemed to soften, uncertainty still visible but eclipsed by something deeper, perhaps curiosity. "Maya," he replied, a hesitant smile forming. "I didn't know you were pushing things like this. Community dinners. Sounds ambitious." "Ambitious, yes, but I think it's necessary." She smiled, trying to deflect her nervousness. "We've lost our way. And honestly I miss what we all had. The laughter, the connection. I could really use your help." Jack's gaze flickered to the gathering, where animated chatter buzzed like bees around a hive. It was as if he was weighing something invisible in his mind. And what if it doesn't work? What if it just brings up all the old issues? Maya understood that fear, for it echoed in her own chest. But what if it does? She countered gently. What if we can begin to heal? We've been avoiding each other for so long. I think you still care, Jack." His eyes widened, and for a moment, she saw a hint of vulnerability. "I do care. But it's not that simple." "No, it's not. But nothing worth fighting for ever is," she said, earnestness shining in her eyes. "We need each other more than we realize. And I believe this diner can be the heart of our healing." Jack looked beyond her, lost in thought. Then he stepped closer, his tone dropping to a whisper. "You really believe that, huh?" "I do." Maya felt the weight of her conviction grow. "I can't do it alone. None of us can. We need to lean into our past, accept it, and let it guide us forward." A flicker of something passed through his expression, struggle mixed with hope. "All right," he said slowly, "I could help out. Just maybe start with cooking together. Maya's heart soared. Yes. Cooking together. That's perfect. It's where we all used to find joy. But just then, the moment broke as another voice broke their reverie. Maya. It was Mr. Thompson, waving her over. We were just talking about scheduling and planning. Could you help coordinate the first dinner? She glanced back at Jack, eager yet cautious. We'll work on it together. I promise. Jack nodded, but his brow furrowed as if a deeper conflict still looped in his mind. As the room swelled with renewed energy, Maya felt a flicker of hope ignite. They had taken a step, they had connected where it mattered most. But the lingering question remained: would Jack overcome his doubts? As she joined the group, maintaining her focus on the plans ahead, one thought danced at the back of her mind. Facing past wounds was just the beginning. Would they all be able to forgive and move forward, or would old divisions resurface? The air crackled with possibility, but uncertainty loomed just above, waiting to be addressed. Would this fragile revival be enough to mend their community, or were they all still haunted by the fractures of yesterday? In the days that followed, the planning meetings became a whirlwind of activity. Every corner of the diner echoed with laughter and debate as old friends reunited. Maya felt a rhythm settle into their sessions, the camaraderie stitched back together like a patchwork quilt. They talked about menus, decorations, and which old favorites to serve, like meatloaf, fried chicken, and apple pie, all warm and comforting. Jack was piecing himself back into the fabric of their group, his easy smile returning as he played chef, instructing others on chopping and sautéing. Yet, even as he engaged, there were moments when Maya caught the shadow of uncertainty in his eyes, as if he was still grappling with the weight of unspoken things. They hadn't found the chance to talk one-on-one since that first conversation, but Maya busied herself with the preparations, hoping the right moment would come. After a long day of planning, they gathered around a table strewn with empty plates and water glasses. Laughter filled the air, but the spotlight of her heart was on Jack. "Let's do a taste test tomorrow night," someone suggested, and the rest of the group cheered in agreement. Maya shot a glance at Jack, who was pulling his hands through his hair in that way he did when he was stressed. She wanted to comfort him, to ease whatever doubts still remained. "Jack," she started tentatively. "Can we grab a coffee after?" He paused, looking caught off guard. The laughter faded for a second as the group turned their attention to them. "Sure," he nodded, his voice steady, but the tremor in his gaze betrayed his nerves. When they stepped outside, the air was crisp and the sky painted with the warm hues of dusk. Maya took a breath, feeling the weight of the moment. They settled into a small booth at the diner, where the familiar sights made her heart race with nostalgia. "Thanks for agreeing to meet," Maya said, stirring her cup. "I know things are complicated." Jack leaned forward, resting his elbows on the table. "It's not just about the dinners, is it?" There was a hint of vulnerability in his words that opened her heart. "No, it isn't." She paused, finding her voice amidst the memories. "This is about us. All of us. I miss how we used to be, and I think you do, too." He sighed, and the weight of his thoughts pressed heavy on his shoulders. "You're right. But I'm scared, Maya. Scared that going back will only bring back all the hurt we tried to bury. I can't do this if it just opens old wounds." "I get that. But we have to face it together. We can't move forward without recognizing what's behind us." Her heart raced as she leaned in, trying to convey the depth of her feelings. Jack looked down, his fingers tapping on the tabletop. "What if we can't fix it? What if we just revive the pain?" Maya's chest tightened. "Then we face it, Jack. Together. Just like before. We owe it to ourselves to try." Jack's eyes flickered with emotion as he considered her words. Hope battled with doubt on his face, and she could feel the walls he had built slowly beginning to crack. Just as he opened his mouth to respond, the diner door swung open, and a couple of kids rushed inside, giggling and running toward the counter. Their voices echoed with life, a stark reminder that moments, no matter how fragile, could invite laughter. even amidst uncertainty in that moment, Maya realized that perhaps it was the little voices, the shared laughter, and the willingness to show up that could make all the difference. "Jack," she whispered, her heart pounding. "Will you trust me? Trust us?" Doubt flickered again in his eyes, but beneath it, she caught a glimpse of something else, a longing, a spark of belief that withered the distance between them. Before he could answer, a loud crash erupted from the kitchen, sending an icy jolt through the air. The conversation halted, and both turned toward the commotion, hearts racing once again. Had they been jolted back into the past, or was this just another curve in their journey toward healing? With eyes wide and adrenaline pumping, Maya felt the urgency swell. What awaited them behind that door? Maya's heart raced as the sound of shattering glass echoed through the diner. Jack's instincts kicked in, he bolted toward the kitchen, and she followed closely behind. Inside, the air was thick with a mix of panic and the warm scent of fried food. A young line cook named Lucy stood frozen, her hands trembling as she stared at the mess on the floor. Broken dishes lay scattered like fallen dreams, and the sizzling pans on the stove continued to pop and hiss, oblivious to the chaos. "It's okay, Lucy," Jack said, moving quickly to grab a broom. "Just breathe. It happens to the best of us." Maya crouched beside Lucy. "Hey, it's just a little mess. We'll clean it up together." She offered a warm smile, trying to ground Lucy's scattered nerves. Gratefully, Lucy nodded, visibly relieved. "I was trying to juggle too many things," and then the sauce splattered. Jack glanced up from the jagged pieces on the floor, catching Maya's eye. In that moment, they were a team again, two people moving through the storm together, a sense of familiarity bringing a smile to his lips. "We'll make this a teaching moment," Jack declared, his voice firm. "Next time, we'll slow it down. Cooking's not just about speed, it's about the heart. Everyone ready?" The small crew nodded, rallying behind him. As they swept up the debris, Maya couldn't help but note that even in the panic, Jack's leadership seeped through. He was gathering them, not just the physical pieces of broken plates, but also the fragments of their friendships and trust. Perhaps this was the spark they needed to ignite the healing she longed for. After the incident was under control, Jack turned to Maya, his brow still furrowed in concern. "Did that catch you off guard?" "More than you know," she replied softly. "But it reminded me how much we need each other right now. It's okay to be messy sometimes." A flicker of understanding passed between them, a moment where words weren't necessary. Jack was more than just Jack now. He was the man she admired, one who was navigating his own chaos while trying to hold everyone together. "Let us get back to work," he said, his gaze steady. "Tomorrow's the taste test, and we want it to be special." As the evening wore on, laughter and banter returned, filling every nook of the diner again. Even the kitchen felt lighter, as if the weight of the crash had somehow shifted something deeper within them. Maya spent much of the night observing Jack, how he interacted with everyone, directing the cooks, joking with patrons, fixing little problems before they got big. It filled her with a sense of admiration. But there was still a barrier around him, an unsteady wall he was reluctant to breach. When the last impatient customer finally left, the diner quieted down. Jack leaned against the counter, a distant look in his eyes. "Maya," he began, his tone more serious, "what if I can't let go of my past mistakes? I don't want to hurt anyone else." Maya felt a rush of urgency. "Then let us face them together," she insisted, reaching for his hand. "You don't have to carry it all alone." He held her gaze, searching for something in her eyes. Just then, the door swung open again, bringing in the chill of the night. A figure stepped inside, a silhouette from their past that neither of them expected. "Maya." "Jack." The voice broke through the comfortable atmosphere, sending ripples of tension through their little world. What had they just opened up with the arrival of this unexpected guest? Maya's breath caught in her throat at the sound of that familiar voice. It felt like a ghost had walked through the door of the diner, pulling her back through layers of time she thought she'd buried. Jack stiffened beside her, his expression morphing into one of shock. "Emma." Maya managed to say, her heart racing. Emma stood at the entrance, arms crossed, a fierce look on her face. The years had changed her, but not nearly as much as the memories that now flooded Maya's mind. "Didn't he think I'd find you two here, of all places," Emma said, stepping further inside and closing the door, blocking the cold air behind her. The atmosphere shifted, the playful laughter of the diner still hanging in the air, but now it felt like a fragile bubble, threatened by the weight of past grievances and untold stories. Maya's pulse quickened, even as she tried to muster an inviting smile. "Yeah, well, life has a way of, surprising us," Maya replied, feeling the weight of unsaid words resting heavily on her tongue. Jack's demeanor changed, the warmth in his eyes dimming slightly as he took a cautious step back. "Emma, it's been a while," he said, his voice betraying a hint of stiffness, the warmth he showed with others fading just a bit. Emma shrugged, her gaze flicking between the two of them. "I heard you were running this place. I had to see it for myself." She was still tough, still that fierce spirit Maya had admired back in the day, but now there was something different, shadows lurking behind her eyes. "What are you doing here?" Jack asked, his tone blunt, yet deep down, Maya sensed the hurt years of fractured friendship exposed in an instant. Emma shifted her weight, her bravado cracking just a little. "I came back to settle some things. Things I should have dealt with long ago. But this isn't just about me. It's about you too, and what it means for us. Together." The way she said together sent a chill down Maya's spine. It triggered old memories, unresolved incidents they had all swept under the rug. A silence lengthened, heavy and loaded with emotion, lingering like the smell of burnt toast. "Maybe we should talk somewhere private," Maya suggested, her voice softer this time. The laughter from the diner felt miles away now, like another world entirely. Jack hesitated, looking at each woman, torn between the past and the present. I don't know," he muttered, uncertainty etching deeper lines into his face. "We can't keep running," Emma shot back, her voice sharp yet weary. "Not from each other. Not from our history." Maya nodded slowly, considering the way their shared past had tangled together. "Jack, if we want to move forward, we need to face." Suddenly, the sound of a chair scraping against the tiled floor broke the tense moment. It was Lucy peeking in from the kitchen, eyes wide with concern. "Hey, everything okay?" Jack's gaze flitted back to her, and in that instant, Maya saw the wall he had built around himself swollen with doubt once more. "Fine," he said, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "Just reminiscing." Maya felt an ache in her heart as she caught Emma's stare. It held a mixture of hope and trepidation. They all had things they needed to say, to confront, but how could they? Could they bridge the distance created by years of mistakes? "Tomorrow's the taste test," Maya murmured, "but right now, maybe we all need to address the real mess between us." The tension in the air felt electric, a reckoning was near. Would they clear away the debris of their shared past? What truths lay dormant, waiting to be unearthed again? As Maya looked into the faces of her old friends, a sense of urgency filled the room. The promise of a storm was gathering, ready to break upon them. The diner fell into uneasy silence, the clinking of forks and chatter becoming a distant hum. Maya's heart thudded in her chest as she glanced around, sensing the weight of anticipation and unspoken words pooling among them. "Emma, we can." Jack started, his voice a mix of hesitation and resolve. He looked at Maya as if searching for support. "We can't just pretend everything's fine." Maya took a deep breath, finding her courage in the midst of the emotional storm swirling between them. "You're right, Jack. We owe it to ourselves to address this. Why don't we go to the back booth? It's quieter there." Emma shifted her weight again, visibly grappling with the moment, and then nodded. "Yeah, I'd like that." As they made their way to the back, Maya could feel the watchful eyes of the other diners on them. She felt exposed, the weight of their history hanging in the air like a thick fog. Once settled, they sat in a triangle, the booth's high backs offering a semblance of privacy but not much comfort. The tension was palpable, and Maya could see Jack's jaw clench and unclench as if he were wrestling with his thoughts. Emma looked at Maya, and there was a question in her eyes. Why did you come back now? Maya asked, trying to steady her voice despite the confusion bubbling within her. After all this time? Emma sighed, staring down at the table. I know I messed things up. I thought I could just leave it all behind, but, the truth is, I couldn't. I can't. What do you mean? Jack prompted, his voice low. What is it you haven't said? Emma lifted her gaze, and the fierceness had softened. I came back to own up to my mistakes, to make things right where I can, but I also came because I missed both of you. I just realized how much I've imagined this moment, without really grasping the magnitude of what I left behind. Maya felt tears brimming, surprising her. Emma, we were all hurt. You don't have to keep carrying that, but it's going to take more than just words. Jack's face was a mix of frustration and longing, and Maya wasn't sure how he felt about Emma's admission. Do you even see us? He asked, a flicker of hurt illuminating his eyes. We've built our lives without you. I mean, it's not just about you and what you left. Emma faltered at that. I know. I can't change that, but I want to be part of whatever comes next. Maya's heart twisted. Could they really weave the past into their present? Would they find a way to heal together? There was so much left unspoken, a torrent of feelings just waiting for a catalyst. I'm tired of the silence, Maya declared, surprising herself with the strength of her voice. We've all hurt one another, but if we're going to move forward, we have to say what's in our hearts. Jack looked at Maya, then at Emma. We can't keep running from what happened, but I'm scared of what resurfacing those memories might do. Me too, Emma whispered, tears glimmering in her eyes. But staying silent is killing me a little more every day. Maya felt the rising tide of emotions, the gravity of their unfinished business ready to engulf them. What secrets lay buried? What had they each lost? They had to face it or risk losing each other again. In that moment, beneath the flickering diner lights, an understanding settled softly over them, a fragile thread connecting three lives intertwined by moments of joy, heartache, and potential forgiveness. What if we started with what we wish we could change? Maya proposed, hope lighting a spark in her chest. What we would do differently if given a second chance. Jack looked at Maya, then at Emma. What we would do if we truly understood each other. As the three friends stared, vulnerability brewing, Maya felt that storm brewing closer, ready to crash down and reveal truths long buried. Would they be brave enough to weather it? And what potential awaited on the other side? The questions hung heavily in the air, interleaved with doubt and anticipation. The unraveling of their story was just beginning. Maya took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment settle deep in her chest. She glanced around the diner, the once familiar faces now felt so distant. There was laughter at another table, a couple sharing ice cream, oblivious to the storm brewing at theirs. Okay, Emma said, her voice steadying. What I wish I could change. I wish I could take back the day I left. I thought I was doing what was best for me, but I now see that it broke all of our hearts. And Jack, stealing those years from you, I regret that the most. Jack's expression didn't change, determination blended with his hurt. But why didn't you think about us then? Even at the end of it all, you could have reached out anything. Emma looked down, tears spilling onto the table. I thought distance would make it easier for both of you. I thought maybe you'd find happiness without me dragging you down. You didn't drag us down, Maya interjected, her voice firmer now. We were a team. You were part of our lives, and playing a role in our happiness. We were family, Jack added, his voice quiet but filled with intensity. You just disappeared. The silence that followed was thick. Each of them recalling the moments they had shared, the laughter, the dreams, the secrets. Maya felt her own emotions spilling over. I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to you, Emma. I was angry, but I also missed you. It felt like there was a hole in my heart. Emma met her gaze, pain etched across her features. I'm so sorry for that. I never meant to hurt you. I was just so lost. What's the next step then? Jack's voice trembled slightly. You can't just sweep in and expect everything to be like it was. Maya reached across the table and took Jack's hand. We can rebuild, can't we? We owe it to ourselves to try. We can share what we learned while apart. Jack looked down, reluctant yet vulnerable. What is there to share? I've missed you both, and I don't want to keep hurting. I understand, Emma whispered, her voice a shaky thread. But openness, honesty, that's the only way we can try to heal. I promise you, from now on, I won't shy away from sharing my truths. Maya nodded, feeling a surge of warmth despite the chill of uncertainty. It felt like the dawn's first light. We need to create a safe space then. Maybe we all take turns sharing one thing we've missed about each other, or a moment that still haunts us. Jack hesitated before squeezing Maya's hand back, his resolve reinforcing her strength. And if it gets too much, we take a break. No shame in that. No racing back to silence. Emma nodded, wiping her cheeks with the back of her hand. Okay. We can do this. Together, if you'll let me. Maya felt a flicker of hope in the emptiness they had felt for so long. We will. Starting right now. They each took a moment, collecting their thoughts, aware that their truths were about to spill forth. It was time for unguarded hearts and raw honesty, a moment that felt both terrifying and freeing. The rising tension shifted into something tangible, like a storm breaking into a gentle rain. Each word they were about to speak could transform their relationship, rebirth in some way. All right, then, Jack finally said, looking directly at Emma. You first. With a deep breath and eyes opened wide with vulnerability, Emma began to share what she had kept buried for too long, unaware of how her revelation would shape their futures. What lay ahead was uncharted territory, but something within Maya whispered that their journey toward healing was only just beginning, with more secrets yet to be uncovered. Would they find the strength to confront the truth? And what would that truth unlock for their trio? As they sat in that back booth of Maya's place, the weight of unspoken truths filled the air. Maya felt something shifted within her as Emma gathered her thoughts. It was the moment where pasts would collide, and each of them held their breaths, waiting for what would come next. Emma finally spoke, vulnerability in her voice. Okay, I'll start. I missed the way we used to laugh together. You both were my anchors in a world that felt really chaotic. You brought me joy during some of my darkest times, and when I left I felt like I was tearing away pieces of myself. Her eyes glistened, reflecting the light above them. Jack shifted, absorbing Emma's words while fragments of their past replayed in his mind, their laughter rolling through the diner, the secrets shared over cups of coffee, dreams spun amidst the clink of cutlery. And you chose to leave, he said, his voice soft yet still edged with hurt. I know, Emma replied, leaning forward. But it's not that simple. I was battling my own demons. Fear of failure, fear of dragging you down. I thought I was saving you from me. But you didn't save us. You severed that bond, Jack replied, his frustration bubbling to the surface, but Maya could see the struggle etched across his face, the hurt, the longing for what once was. Can you forgive me for that? Emma asked, her voice trembling. I'm not asking for things to go back to how they were, but to acknowledge that I was flawed. For all those moments I missed, I'm so sorry. Maya felt her own chest tighten as she considered how they too had done their share of running, of avoiding the confrontation that had brought them here. Emma, it's not about forgetting. It's about recognizing the impact it had on all of us, she said, pausing to catch Jack's gaze. Just like what we're going through now. Yeah, Jack added, his tone shifting. Maybe it's time we all figured out what forgiveness truly looks like. Emma wiped at her cheeks. I promise to be more open to reconnect, to make it real this time. I want you both to know that I care. She looked at Maya. And I want to help you with the diner, if you'll let me. Maya's heart lifted, a feeling she had missed for so long. Rebuilding, then. Together. She reached out and clasped Emma's hand. We need that. All of us. As her voice faltered slightly, she breathed in deep, looking first at Jack and then back at Emma. We need each other. Jack nodded slowly. It's not going to be easy, he stated, a serious look settling on his features, but I'm in. I can't pretend it doesn't hurt. But at the end of the day, our friendship was worth fighting for. The weight of those words hung heavy in the air, genuine and poignant as old wounds started to mend. What if, Maya proposed, we bring those dinner ideas to life? Use it as a way to reconnect with our community even with those who've been hesitant. Emma's eyes brightened up. Yes. We can offer a space for stories where everyone shares memories over their favorite meals. Let food be our bridge. The three of them sat in a bubble of renewed energy, dreams dancing above them, glimmers of possibility illuminating their path. The diner wasn't just a gathering place, it could hold the power to heal. I know things aren't perfect, Jack said, his brows knitting together. But if we can be honest with each other from here on out, maybe we can rebuild not just ourselves but also what we lost. It'll mean more than just surviving, it'll mean thriving. Maya's heart soared as she clutched both Emma and Jack's hands, united in a new understanding. We have a chance to thrive in our community and in our hearts. We can lean into our pain but also celebrate our laughter. The words felt like a promise, a commitment to move forward, hand-in-hand. As they shared hopeful ideas, the diner around them transformed a container of aromatic richness that wasn't just food, but a recipe for hope. Maya envisioned families filling the booths, laughter bubbling once again, memories being made anew. Tomorrow would hold a taste test, a step towards reconnecting the past and present. But more than that, it would become a gathering for honesty, a place where their shared stories could mend hearts and lift the weight of solitude from their shoulders. As the meeting wrapped up, Maya felt a sensation she hadn't felt in ages, a deep sense of gratitude, a lightness washing over her heart. They would move forward not merely as friends looking for forgiveness but as a unit ready to craft a brighter future from the fragments of their messy history. With every step, a little more peace was reclaimed. Hand in hand, they made the commitment to not only heal their bonds but to extend that love to their community. Their past would always be there, a shadowy reminder, but together, they would create something radiant, and as the dawn broke over their little diner the next morning, it carried within it the promise of renewal, a fresh start, a new chapter. Maya turned to her friends, ready to embrace whatever came next. They were together, and together, they could light the path forward. But there was something more, an urge to spread this newfound hope beyond their circle, invigorating the town. She felt the swelling anticipation in her chest. So here comes the call, subscribe immediately to join this journey of transformation and community revival. Leave a like now to boost the algorithm and share this shining story with everyone who needs inspiration. Comment below how this chapter resonated with you. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this strength. Let's light this spark together.